Today is my 7th anniversary with my boyfriend Jason. I had made a reservation at a high-end restaurant well in advance. Jason said he'd pick me up from school after work so we could go celebrate. I didn't expect he'd show up with a bonus guest. Jason's flashy red BMW came skidding to a dramatic halt right in front of me. I was just about to open the passenger door when the window rolled down first. Sitting there was a girl with an adorable face, looking at me with an innocent expression. Before I could say anything, Jason already had that pained look on his face, like he had a stomachache. He quickly said, "Sophie gets carsick in the back. Could you let her sit up front?" Sophie immediately gave a sweet smile. "You don't mind, do you? I can sit in the back if it's a problem." Jason cut in right away. No, she's not that petty." He said it all. What else could I say? So I ended up sitting alone in the back seat, watching Jason thoughtfully hand Sophie some brown sugar tea and a warming patch. I drifted into my thoughts without even realizing. Jason has a thing about cleanliness. He absolutely hates it when I ride in his car during my period. I still remember once when he came to pick me up and my period had come early. I was in so much pain. He had been laughing and chatting with me at first, but the moment he found out I was on my period, his face went cold. He hit the brakes and pulled over to the side of the road. In a commanding tone, he said, "Why didn't you say something earlier? Don't sit in my car." I was completely stunned. "We're halfway there, it's not like I'm going to make a mess. And I'm in a lot of pain," I said. But Jason barked impatiently. "It reeks. The smell is all over the car, absolutely disgusting. Get out. I need to get the car washed." I stood there on the side of the road, frozen, watching him drive away without hesitation. The words I wanted to say, "You never said anything about the smell when I didn't tell you," stuck in my throat and never came out. That day, getting a cab was nearly impossible. I clenched my teeth and endured the cramps, transferring between buses and subways. It took me a full 3 hours to get home. Jason never once asked if I got home safely or if I was feeling okay. Eventually, I was the one who texted him, "I'm home." Half an hour went by with no response. I thought for a moment, then sent him 500 yuan with a note. "Car wash." Less than 10 seconds later, I got a payment confirmation sound along with a quick message. "Got it, rest early." I tried to comfort myself. Everyone has their own habits. I should respect and understand that. My thoughts were interrupted by Sophie's sudden exclamation. "Oops, sorry, I wasn't prepared today. I think my pad leaked onto the seat." She had those big, dew-like eyes that blinked up at Jason with a mix of apology and playful charm. Jason chuckled warmly. "No big deal. We'll just wipe it off in a bit. Does your stomach hurt?" The two of them chatted like no one else was there, completely forgetting that I, a breathing, living human, was still sitting in the back seat. After a while, Sophie finally turned to me. "I heard you're doing your PhD. That's amazing. Not like me. I had to start working early. It's so tiring and stressful. I'm lucky I met someone like Jason. He's such a great boss." Jason glanced at me through the rearview mirror, his eyes pausing on my glasses. "She studies so much it's made her dull. Not romantic at all. You, on the other hand, are full of charm." I sat there silently. Jason used to say he loved how scholarly I looked. He said real beauty comes from within and that I shined without needing to dress up. But now that's all just dull and not romantic. Sophie leaned back and looked at me. "Why aren't you saying anything? Come on, let's all chat." What was I supposed to say? All I wanted to do was slap her across the face, twice. Jason, meanwhile, insisted on keeping the conversation going, like he had a personal rule that no line of his should be left hanging. "She's just introverted. Doesn't talk much." I almost laughed out loud. I'm known as the talker among my classmates, the joke master in the lab, and now I'm being labeled introverted? There was a time when Jason and I could talk all day without getting tired of each other. When did he start saying he wasn't interested anymore? I used to be so excited to share stories from the lab, random kittens I saw, or funny things from the cafeteria, but he would just cut me off with an annoyed face. "Can you give it a rest? I'm tired." I understood that work was hard for him, so I slowly taught myself a new skill: silence. But today, I finally realized it wasn't that he was too tired to talk. He just didn't want to talk to me. As Jason told Sophie another one of his cliché jokes, he skillfully turned the car into a residential complex. He considerately parked downstairs and waved goodbye to Sophie with a cheerful smile. Jason then turned to me in a formal, businesslike tone and asked, "Do you want to sit in the front?" I let out a cold laugh. "You want me to sit in the seat she just stained?" Jason didn't seem to care. "Just wipe it down, no big deal. If you don't want to sit in the back, then fine. So where's the restaurant? Can you guide me there?" I pinched the bridge of my nose. "I sent you the restaurant address last month. You need GPS for that, but you sure know the way to her place just fine." Jason finally seemed to notice something was off. He turned around with a surprised look. "What are you even thinking? She has stomach issues. I've only helped her a few times." I didn't want to argue. What we had, it just wasn't worth it anymore. I stared straight at him and said, word by word, "Let's break up." Jason looked at me as if he didn't understand, stunned for a long moment. Then he frowned, clearly annoyed. "Seriously? You're being ridiculous." I kept my eyes on the brown sugar tea and warming patch by his hand. "When I was on my period, you never let me sit in your car. You said the smell made you sick, but you prepared all this for her." Jason looked like he wanted to snap but was trying to hold it in. "Okay, I was wrong. Fine, from now on, sit wherever you want. Can you not make a scene? It's our 7-year anniversary, for God's sake." I shook my head, my voice calm and steady. "I'm not making a scene. I'm officially breaking up with you. I wish you success in your career, and hope your family supports you." With that, I opened the door and got out. No matter how loudly Jason shouted my name behind me, I didn't look back. Just yesterday, I had been rushing to finish my paper so I could celebrate today. Even my advisor had reminded me to get some rest. I'd smiled and told him, "I can't, tomorrow's a special day." My boyfriend once said that, if we could make it through the 7-year itch, we'd be together forever. He promised he would propose to me on our 7th anniversary. But I guess he forgot, and there's no point in humiliating myself any further. I walked back to campus alone and went straight to the lab. That's my habit. When I'm in a bad mood, I bury myself in work. Once the curtains are drawn, the rest of the world disappears. Just me, causing academic chaos in the city. What I didn't expect was someone else being in the lab. I ended up in a wide-eyed stare-off with Nathan Chen, my lab senior. "Aren't you supposed to be a genius?" I teased. "What's a genius doing working late in the lab?" Nathan coughed awkwardly. "Well, you know, rumors aren't always true." Nathan is about to graduate. He's one of the most sought-after talents around, dozens of published papers, invited to conference after conference. A truly outstanding person. Then he suddenly seemed to remember something. "Oh, right. I got a new freelance writing job. Pays pretty well. Want it?" Nathan had introduced me to a few side gigs before, mostly manuscript writing and such. Honestly, as a PhD student, I hardly spend any money. Between scholarships and stipends, I've got more than enough, and I'm even able to earn a little on the side. At the root of it, I only took on those freelance jobs because I didn't want Jason to feel pressured. Like when he bought his car, half the money came from me. That was when he got his first promotion. He wanted a car to show off, and eventually chose a BMW 3 Series. But he didn't have enough money, so he considered taking out a loan or borrowing some. I told him loans meant interest, and borrowing would cost him pride. I might as well cover half. He joked at the time, "That makes you my creditor now. I'd better never make you mad." But later, he still kicked me out of that very car. Thinking about it now, my mood suddenly lifted. We're broken up now. I should get that money back. That would be an unexpected windfall. Just thinking about it made me smile. "I'm good," I said lightly. "I'm not short on money for now, but thank you, Nathan." Nathan didn't pry further and simply said, "That's good. When you're doing a PhD, your focus should really be on the research." So the two of us stayed in the lab that evening, quietly working through our experiments, occasionally chatting a bit. Nathan really had a unique academic perspective. It helped me a lot. When I got back to the dorm that night, my head was full of data and experimental procedures. I almost forgot I was someone who'd just gone through a breakup. The next morning, I was jolted awake by my phone ringing insistently. Still half asleep, I picked it up. Jason's voice came through. It had been a while since I heard him speak so gently. "Did I wake you?" I frowned and glanced at my phone in confusion. Was I still groggy, or had yesterday been a dream? I could have sworn I broke up with him. Jason kept talking like nothing had happened. I took the day off. I'll take you out to relax and grab a bite. I'll be downstairs in a bit. I let out a sigh. If I'm not mistaken, we already broke up. Jason paused before replying. Come on, don't be like that. I was wrong yesterday. If you don't like her, I won't see her again, okay? From his tone, it was clear he thought what I'd said yesterday was just out of anger. I almost laughed. Do you know why I didn't block you? It's not because I was waiting for you to come crawling back. It's because you still owe me 150,000 yuan for the car. I'm doing a PhD, not running a charity. Pay me back, quickly. Jason didn't seem fazed at all by my harsh tone. He just rushed out, I'll be downstairs soon, and hung up. What was wrong with this guy? Was I not speaking Chinese? Sure enough, less than 10 minutes later, Jason was downstairs. From the look of him, he wasn't planning to leave until I showed up. After thinking it over, I finally went down. I wasn't really cut out for melodrama, and some things are just better said face to face. The moment he saw me, Jason's eyes lit up. He pulled a ring box out from behind his back and got down on one knee with that overly earnest look. Will you marry me? I was completely stunned. Things were moving way too fast. Honestly, I was a little scared. Jason was still kneeling, loudly declaring, You've always been the rose in my heart. I was planning to propose last night, but I didn't expect to upset you. I promise, after we're married, I'll listen to you about everything. I cut him off. When did you buy that ring? Jason looked confused. Of course I bought it a long time ago. You thought I forgot? I remembered, all right? I couldn't help laughing. Jason, you're not very good at lying, you know. I saw the colorful paper bits stuck to your tire. They're the kind that shopping mall over on the east side uses during promotional events. They had a celebrity guest this morning. That confetti was scattered for the occasion. The route from your place to my school doesn't go past that mall. So I'm guessing you went there first thing this morning to buy the ring, didn't you? Jason stayed silent. His eyes darted, and he couldn't meet mine. I folded my arms, looking down at him from above. Also, if you'd already bought the ring yesterday, with the way you are, you would have chased after me the second I stepped out of the car. I'm guessing it only occurred to you after you got home. At that point, I just found it all meaningless. Jason is the kind of person who takes what he already has for granted, thinking it will always be his. He puts no effort into maintaining it. But the moment it slips away, he suddenly pulls out all the stops just to win it back. And the worst part? He actually believes everyone else is too dumb to notice. I'm pretty sure he spent last night weighing the pros and cons, and decided I was still the best option, the most cost-effective choice, at least, so he staged this little proposal drama to try and win me over again. Jason stood up, his eyes full of desperation. I just made the same mistake every guy makes. Just then, a quiet voice piped up. Why does it look like you brought your whole gang for this? Can't you fight your own battles? I turned toward the voice and saw Nathan walking by, carrying a stack of books, watching us curiously. Jason's face twisted with irritation. Who the hell are you? Nathan raised an eyebrow. I'm a student here. You, on the other hand, don't seem to be. Harassing students from our school? If you don't leave, I'll call campus security, Nathan said coolly. Jason's face twisted in anger. She's my girlfriend. I quickly corrected him. Ex-girlfriend and current creditor. Right now, our relationship is very simple. Debt and repayment. Nathan raised his eyebrows with a knowing look and said, Oh, dragging it out with obvious meaning. Jason's face turned beet red with embarrassment and rage. Enough already, Emily. Just because you're getting a PhD doesn't mean you're all that. The job market's rough these days. PhDs aren't any more sought after than us undergrads. You'll end up earning a few thousand a month just like everyone else. At least I'm already a department manager. If you turn me down now, you'll regret it. With that, he stormed into his car and sped off. Nathan and I looked at each other for a moment. Then he tilted his head and said, There's a big-name lecture today. Want to go? Sure, I answered without hesitation. By the end of the lecture, we were both still buzzing with excitement, totally fired up. On the way back, Nathan broke the silence. You'll be graduating next year, right? Got any plans? I shook my head and asked, I heard your advisor personally invited you to stay on for a postdoc. That's impressive. Nathan gave a slight smile. I turned it down. I've already accepted an offer from one of the top firms. You should think about applying there too. They really value talent and offer a lot of flexibility. I rubbed my forehead, hesitating, not for any practical reason, but because Jason worked at that same company. Nathan seemed to pick up on my hesitation. In a quiet voice, he said, "Don't forget your favorite saying, sunk cost fallacies shouldn't factor into major decisions." I blinked, then everything suddenly clicked. In that relationship, I always thought I was playing the role of a mature, understanding girlfriend. But without realizing it, I'd lost myself completely. Now that my life was finally back on track, it was time to return to who I really was. I looked at Nathan. "So what should I start preparing? Can you give me some pointers?" He replied seriously, "I wouldn't presume to instruct you, but I can share some experience. I'd suggest publishing at least 4 Category A papers that'll qualify you for their Genius Track program. If you get in, the starting salary is between 800,000 and 2 million yuan. Nathan generously shared everything he knew with me. Over the next few days, I put together a new graduation plan. Just when I thought I was finally starting fresh, Jason's parents showed up. That day, I had just gotten back to my dorm when I saw 2 familiar figures sitting right outside, middle-aged, surrounded by large bags and suitcases. The moment they saw me, their faces lit up. "Emily, there you are. We've been waiting forever. Hurry and book us a hotel." I almost laughed in disbelief. It was Jason's parents. Every time they came to visit him, they'd come to me first. They always said the same thing. "Jason's so busy with work, how could we bother him? But you're still in school, you have time." And since we were going to be family someday, they said it was only right for me to start showing filial piety early. So I'd end up playing tour guide, running errands, and keeping them company all over town for days. When it was all done, Jason and his parents were always satisfied. They'd go home bragging, "Jason's girlfriend is so thoughtful." That was my only reward. No one cared that I was just as busy. I kept my tone polite but firm. "Mr. and Mrs. Lee, Jason and I have broken up. You'll need to contact him directly from now on." Their cheerful chatter came to a halt like someone had pressed mute. After a long, awkward pause, Jason's mother frowned and asked sharply, "You broke up? Did you do something to hurt Jason? Did he dump you?" I took a deep breath to steady myself but kept my smile. I was the one who ended it. "If you want the details, you should ask him. I have other things to do, so I'll be going now." I moved to walk past them. But they weren't about to let me off so easily. Jason's mother's voice turned shrill. "You broke up with him? You dare to break up with our Jason? He's such a good man." "Who are you to break up with him?" Jason's mother shrieked. I found myself at a loss for words. With no other option, I called Jason. As soon as he picked up, his voice was full of forced excitement. "What's wrong? Did you come to your senses?" "It's okay, I forgive you. Let's just pretend nothing happened. Everything can go back to the way it was." I cut him off mid-ramble. "Come to my campus. Your parents are here." An hour later, Jason showed up. His mom immediately grabbed her precious son and asked, "Did you really break up? Good, now you can find someone better." She glanced at me with thinly veiled contempt and raised her voice. "My son is in upper management at a major company. He drives a BMW. Girls are lining up for him." Jason tugged her sleeve and muttered, "Mom, that's enough. I haven't even agreed to the breakup yet." His mom paused for a beat, then suddenly got it. "Oh, right. He hasn't been working all these years, has he? You must have spent a lot supporting him. We should get that money back." Jason looked like he wanted to sink into the ground. His face flushed bright red, and he avoided eye contact, clearly wishing his mother would stop. But she didn't. "Let's settle it right now. Have him pay you back on the spot." I couldn't take it anymore. "Ma'am, I get a government stipend for my studies. I don't just spend nothing, I even manage to save. Jason and I always split the bill when we went out. I've never spent a cent of his money. And that fancy BMW you keep bragging about? I paid 150,000 yuan toward that. If you're so eager to settle accounts, why don't you pay me back?" Jason's mom stared at him in disbelief, her eyes wide. He hung his head in silence, confirming everything without saying a word. Her face twitched with embarrassment. Maybe she realized the scene had become too humiliating, so she suddenly pretended to faint, half fake, half real. That finally ended it. They left. The next day, I had just stepped out of the lab when I saw Jason waiting outside. When he spotted me, he ran over enthusiastically. "Sorry about yesterday. My mom made a mess of things." I couldn't help laughing. "That's not what you used to say. No matter what your parents did before, you'd always say, 'How can you call that a hassle? That's just part of honoring your elders.'" For once, Jason was at a loss for words. Instead of arguing, he pulled a paper box out from behind his back. "Didn't you want to try that cake from that viral bakery? I got it for you. Try it, see if it's good." I looked at him and sighed. "What is it that you really want? Are you just trying to get out of paying me back?" Jason immediately panicked. "No. I have the money. I saved it up. I don't want to lose you. I know I haven't treated you well lately, maybe because of work pressure, but I realize that now. Can you give me one more chance?" As I looked at him, I suddenly realized he was turning into the version of me from back then, willing to change himself just to keep the relationship going. I reached out and took the cake from his hands. His eyes lit up with hope as I opened the box and took a bite. After a pause, I said, "Honestly, it's not that good. Or maybe it was just that I wasn't in the same place anymore. Back then, I wanted the cake because I wanted you to buy it for me. I wanted to know you thought of me, that I mattered to you. But seeing Sophie that day made me realize how ridiculous I had been." Jane's expression turned anxious. "It's not like that with me and her, really." He hesitated, then finally spoke like he was making a life-changing confession. "I like you. I really do, but you've always felt like this unreachable red rose. You're smart, capable, and brilliant, but you're also strong. Back when we got together, everyone around me said I was lucky to land such a beautiful, brainy girl, but it always felt like you never really needed me." I handed the cake box back to him. "So Sophie makes you feel needed. She satisfies that overflowing need to protect someone." I looked him in the eyes. "Admit it, Jason, even if we tried to stay together, I'd still end up turning from a red rose into just some tired metaphor in a poem." "That's enough. I'm done," I said, standing up and walking away. Even now, Jason still didn't understand that you can't have it both ways. I had assumed my attitude was clear enough, but he didn't seem ready to give up. He started paying me back. Not too much, not too little. With each payment came some pointless small talk. "Emily, the sun's really nice today. I wish we could go on a little trip. Remember how you always wanted that? There's a little white dog wagging its tail at me by the road. I passed a flower shop and bought a bouquet of red roses, thinking of you. Emily, I've been drinking. Can you come pick me up?" I didn't respond to any of it. I stuck to my rule: collect every cent, ignore every word. 15,000 yuan, 150 yuan a day. It'd take 100 days to finish. Then I'd block him for good. Jason's dad even came to see me once, carrying a box of homemade spiced beef. He hesitated for a long time before finally saying, "We were wrong before. Jason's mom regrets everything. He's been completely lifeless lately. Could you?" He didn't finish the sentence. He just sighed and walked away with his head down. I called a courier to send the spiced beef straight to Jason and buried myself back in my thesis. Nathan shared a ton of materials with me, and I spent my days drowning in academic papers, totally disconnected from time. Before I knew it, graduation season had arrived. Nathan graduated successfully and landed a job at one of the top tech companies. His starting salary was 2.8 million yuan, not even counting bonuses. We were all ridiculously jealous. A group of us demanded he treat us to dinner. Amid the cheerful chaos, I spotted Jason standing at a distance, watching us. When I walked over, he said, a little wistfully, "Nathan came to my company yesterday. The CEO gave him a personal tour. He's the real deal. Makes me wish I'd stayed in school." I didn't hold back. "Funny. Back then you were the one who lectured me, saying grad school and PhDs were just ways of avoiding the real world, that it wasn't any better than stopping at undergrad." Jason's face flushed, then paled, then flushed again. Finally, he looked at me and asked, "So we really can't go back, can we?" I shook my head firmly. Not once, since the moment I said we should break up, did I ever consider looking back. You've always been the one running from reality. Jason stared at me for a long time. It feels like I've just been missing everything. I gave him a good-natured slap on the shoulder. Look forward. When I wished you success and happiness, I meant it. For the next few days, Jason didn't message me again, and he stopped making payments. I was so caught up in my research that I didn't even notice at first, until Sophie showed up at school. She handed me a thick envelope. Here, the rest of what Jason owed you. He didn't have the guts to see you himself, so I offered to bring it. I looked at the ring on her hand, one I instantly recognized. I forced a smile and said, "Congrats." The ring didn't suit her. It fit too snugly, leaving a faint red mark where it pinched her finger. But I knew exactly which ring it was. It was the one Jason had used to propose to me. Efficient as ever, he'd decided to recycle it. I hesitated for a moment, then couldn't help but say, "A ring that's too tight can cut off blood circulation." Sophie flared up instantly, like I'd stepped on her tail. "Can you not be so passive-aggressive? I wasn't trying to start anything, I was just being kind. Why doesn't anyone believe that anymore?" But she didn't stop there. "I know you think you're better than me just because you're a top student. And yeah, I know that ring was one you turned down. Big deal. You're smart, you study a lot, so what? If things had been different, maybe I'd have gone to college too." I looked at her for a long moment before answering. "I was just giving you a sincere reminder. That's all. Studying more doesn't make someone better than others. I'm doing a PhD because I want to keep learning, broaden my view, and stay humble toward the world." Sophie froze for nearly half a minute before speaking again, softly this time. "I'm from a rural village. I have a younger brother. If I can't marry well in the city, my family's going to drag me back and sell me to a widower in his 40s. I know what I'm doing isn't right, but I don't have a choice." "I don't want to go back," Sophie said. "You have everything, you wouldn't understand." I understood perfectly. Jason might not have been the ideal partner, but at that point in Sophie's life, he was the best option she had. And deep down, I couldn't deny she was, in some ways, pitiful too. I gently patted her hand. "Marriage is never a path to salvation. The most important thing is to become strong on your own. Like that ill-fitting ring, it might seem fine at first, but wear it long enough and it'll start to hurt." I didn't know if she truly heard me. When she left, her stubborn posture and tear-reddened eyes stirred something inside me. Back in my dorm, I counted the money in the envelope, not a cent missing. I pulled out my phone, ready to block Jason for good, when I saw the typing indicator flashing at the top of our chat. Then came his final message. "So this is really goodbye, huh? Okay, I get it, I'm sorry." Without replying, I blocked him. I never believed that a breakup needed to be ugly, full of screaming and regret. The world isn't just black or white, and everyone carries their own weight. No need to cling, no need to chase. This was the most dignified ending I could give. The next time I saw Jason and Sophie was a year later. I had graduated, signed with a top-tier company, and was being shown around the office by the CEO and Nathan. They were introducing me to everyone. "This is Emily Shen. She just finished her PhD, turned down overseas offers to join us. And she's the only one this year who passed our Genius Youth program." I heard whispers ripple through the crowd, and everyone looked at me with admiration. The truth was, word had already gotten around. Emily Shen, the new hire with 7 A-tier publications, solid in both theory and application. The company was so impressed they even changed the long-running Genius Youth program to Genius Girl program in her honor. Starting salary, 2 million yuan. I nodded politely to the crowd. Then, through the sea of faces, I met a pair of familiar eyes and paused. I smiled at Jason. Someone nearby whispered, "Wait, Miss Shen, do you know Group Leader Jason?" "Group Leader?" Another added. "I thought he used to be a department head." I kept my expression calm and answered lightly, "Yes, we dated once." Then I turned and walked away, ignoring the buzz of gossip behind me. At lunch, Nathan and I sat together in the cafeteria. At the next table, I overheard people chatting. "Did you hear? Jason submitted his resignation." "Yeah, things haven't been going well for him. Ever since Sophie got pregnant, he's been sidelined in the project team." "Shh, they're here, packing food again." "Can't blame them. Sophie got fired, and Jason's the only one earning now. No wonder they're eating from the cafeteria every day." Apparently, even though the company didn't ban office relationships, Jason and Sophie's situation had stirred up quite a scandal. Before they were even legally married, Sophie got pregnant. She used it to pressure Jason into marrying her. He was hesitant, unsure. One day, during a heated argument, he accidentally shoved her at the office. She nearly miscarried, and an ambulance had to be called. That's when the whole situation came to light. Unfortunately for Jason, his project team had just gotten a new boss, a tough, no-nonsense woman who hated unethical behavior. She completely lost respect for Jason and never gave him important assignments again. Instead, she promoted several younger, more promising employees. Jason was gradually pushed aside. Then came a round of restructuring. He was demoted from department head to team leader, and his salary was cut. To make matters worse, after Sophie gave birth to a daughter, Jason's mom was furious. During her stay to help with the baby, she constantly made passive-aggressive jabs, serving instant noodles one day, cold veggie dumplings the next. The in-law relationship was, at best, chaotic. Jason's work life was miserable. At home, he was stuck between his wife and his mother. He became visibly worn down, his spark gone. Rumor even had it that his hair was thinning. They said he now preferred sitting alone in his BMW after work, staring blankly into space rather than going home. The very car that once symbolized his pride had become his only refuge. Nathan, watching my expression, asked quietly, "Do you feel better now?" I looked up and asked in return, "Isn't that the first question you've ever asked me about all of this?" Truth be told, he'd probably known most of it all along, but he never once asked me how I felt. Instead, he just kept encouraging me to move forward. This was the first time he'd ever broken that pattern. Nathan looked a little awkward, his head lowered. "Sorry, I overstepped." I added a piece of meat to his bowl and said, "Not really about feeling better. Truth is, I was never that angry to begin with. To me, everything external, other people, other events, was out of my control. If it happened, it happened. What I chose to do next was what actually mattered. My response, that was the only thing worth focusing on." Just then, a familiar voice cut through the air. Still the same, always unusually calm. I looked up. It was Jason and Sophie. Jason's eyes swept over my crisp white tailored suit and paused on my eyes, now free from the glasses I used to wear. You're even more beautiful than before," he said quietly. Sophie didn't look pleased, but she didn't say anything. Her eyes flicked across my well-maintained face, and she lowered her head, tugging self-consciously at her stained, worn-out clothes. I gave a polite smile. When you take on a role, you have to look the part. Back then, I was all about academics, so I didn't bother dressing up. Now that I'm working, I figure I should at least keep myself presentable. But when it comes to men, if you can't see the effort of the person beside you and only ever focus on someone else, that's more than just rude. Sophie looked at me in disbelief, then turned to Jason, searching his expression. Jason let out a long sigh. His former confidence and fire were long gone, replaced by exhaustion. He took the takeout box from Sophie's hands and said softly, "Come on, let me take you home. This should be enough for dinner with you and Mom tonight." I watched them walk away, their silhouettes fading. That passionate young man who once dreamed of conquering the world was now nowhere to be found. "What are you thinking about?" Nathan asked, interrupting my thoughts. "The food's getting cold." I blinked and joked, "I'm just wondering why this cafeteria serves Pepsi instead of Coke. That's a downgrade." After that day, I never saw Sophie again. I don't know if she ever escaped the life she hated or found the one she dreamed of. As for Jason, I saw him one last time on his last day at work. It was in the underground parking garage. He was loading a cardboard box into his car, out of breath. I happened to be pulling into a nearby spot. I rolled down my window. "Need help?" Jason glanced at my bright yellow Ferrari and smirked. "A wild Ferrari suits you. Powerful, untamed." I smiled back, easy and light. "It's just a car, a way to get around. Don't overthink it. Besides, your BMW isn't so bad. Still running strong after all these years." After a pause, he laughed bitterly. "That crappy car. It was the thing that finally broke us. Honestly, I didn't even smell anything that day. He stopped mid-sentence, the words catching in his throat. He never finished. We stood there in silence, staring at each other. We both knew this was the last time we'd ever meet. I was the one to break it. "Well then, goodbye. I hope you rise again from rock bottom." Jason's eyes were slightly red, and his voice much softer than before. Looking back, I really wasn't worth much, but you were always so graceful and composed. I never deserved you. It was just insecurity. That's all. He took a breath. Emily, I hope your rose never wilts. We turned and walked in opposite directions, never to meet again in this life. Years later, Nathan and I solved a world-class research problem together. The whole company went wild. At the celebration dinner, Nathan proposed to me in front of everyone. I said yes. While our coworkers cheered, I teased him. That's it. Feels a little basic for someone like you. Not your style. Nathan laughed, eyes crinkling. I hid our initials in a section of the new program code. Doesn't affect anything, but they'll always be there. Even if the world changes, we'll still be together. That's subtle enough for you? I took his hand, smiling. That's my kind of romance. It was the kind of love only someone in STEM could offer. Not loud or fiery, not sweeping or dramatic, but it filled in the quiet, unspoken gaps in my heart. I was his red rose, and he was the light that illuminated my path.